Death of a loved one is always a painful event, but the heartache felt by family members and friends can be more difficult when the cause of death is suicide. It has become such a problem that around 1 in 4 people knew someone who has taken their own life. Despite the frequency of suicide, the social norm of not talking about this issue often means that survivors may feel stigmatized and secluded. Although the reasons why people commit suicide are complex, it not only affects them, but everyone around them as well. By the end of my speech, you'll know who is at risk for suicide, who is affected by suicide, and preventative measures for suicide. To begin, we need to explore who's at risk for suicide and warning signs involved. According to an article, Recognize the Warning Signs of Suicide, found on WebMD, over 90% of people who die by suicide have clinical depression or another mental disorder. Many times people who die by suicide have an alcohol or substance abuse problem. They may have that problem in combination with other mental disorders. So some warning signs include someone who always talks about death, someone who talks about killing themselves often. He or she may lose interest in the things they once enjoyed. Many factors can contribute to suicide, but we need to remember that suicidal tendencies aren't normal. While it's important to know who's at risk for suicide, it's important to know who exactly is affected by suicide. Suicide is becoming a more common cause of death. According to the article, Who's Most Affected by Suicide, it hurts all of us, parents, children, siblings, friends, lovers, and spouses. The loss for society is psychological, spiritual, and financial. Suicide is traumatic for those left behind, even though those who attempt suicide usually think no one cares about them. Understanding suicide requires looking at all factors that underlie this complex and intensely emotional issue. A person who chooses to end their life by suicide thinks that he or she may be hurting just one person, but it actually affects everyone. If every individual who chose to end their life by suicide could have stopped and thought about the pain their actions will cause, maybe there would be fewer self-inflicted deaths. As a result, there are preventative measures that can be taken to help reduce suicide attempts. According to Preventive Suicide, found on womenshealth.gov, getting help for mental illnesses can help prevent suicide. Because depression and substance abuse are linked to suicide, getting treatment can help prevent suicide. Stigmas surrounding mental illnesses can prevent someone from getting help. Listening to someone who is suicidal can help tremendously if they know they aren't alone. Pay attention to his or her feelings and know that they are acting emotionally. Let your loved one know that you care and you're concerned that they're going to make a decision that they'll regret and it will end up hurting everyone. Although suicide can be caused by several factors, including mental illness, the effects of suicide impacts everyone. And we need to remember that there's always help to prevent it. It's important to let that he or she know that they're not alone. Now that we know the warning signs and a few preventative measures of suicide, we can be aware of who's at risk and have a deeper understanding of how great an impact suicide actually has on his or her friends and family. Does anybody have any questions before you clap?
No. All right, good job. Robin.